You get the guys who can hide their entire face just with the triple fold. You're buying a whole screen cover for your face, basically, in real life. This is like the best thing for introverts. Okay, so Huawei released recently their triple fold phone. It's so expensive, you can buy 4 PS5 Pros for that same price. It's $2,800 of a phone. And so the question, number one question is, well, was it really worth the price tag? Well, clearly you do get essentially what is 3 iPhones, right? You put them side by side, you get triple the amount of space for your screen, but at triple the or double the price, I should say. They released it on the same day as the iPhone 16. And the idea here is that for $2,800, you can buy luxury from Huawei, right? You're essentially looking at buying a luxury item. Or in the case of when you compare it to the iPhone, you could buy an iPhone 16 Pro Max. I think it's at like $1,300. You can buy an iPad for the same price, or you can buy a MacBook Pro, which I think they start around $1,300 or $1,400. So for that level of screen, the triple fold, you could get a MacBook and a phone. Okay, so I don't really know who would buy this stuff except for maybe like the ultra rich. Also, the $3,000 Huawei phone, if you break the screen by accident, it might cost you another $1,000 US just to fix it if you're not careful with that phone. And my thing is, like, honestly, if you're talking strictly about practicality, I don't think you need a triple fold. At that point, you can just buy an iPad, right? Or any sorts of combination of tablets / computers if that's what you're really looking for. If it's the screen size you're looking for, it's probably better for you to get an iPad, which obviously you'll get a stronger display because it's not as crispy and fragile as the Huawei one, because I'll show you here. This is what happens when the device is, if I can find it, that is, this one here. Okay, so this was a picture posted by a user in China, and this is the double fold from Huawei. So this is the double fold from Huawei, and according to the girl here, after not using the main screen much, which is this middle one here, okay, so here's in Chinese, on the other one's a little bit down. She says, Huawei is really garbage. The phone hasn't been used for the middle screen much, but it seems like, according to the fixer, internally combusted or blew up internally. That's what causes the screen to die off like this. Now imagine, a double fold is already this fragile or bad, because you know the technology is not there yet. Especially, like, I'll give Huawei the credit for innovation, but the technology is simply not there yet. If Samsungs are already still, you know, they're problematic with the fold, I don't think Huawei is there yet to compete with Samsung for that. For anyhow, you know, the reason is they made it because they're trying to say that, look, China doesn't have a downgrade in terms of spending, because look at us, we can still buy a triple fold. The ridiculousness around this triple fold, here, I'll show you this. So they went into, let me mute this. So they went into the store, and this is what they captured. People putting the phone in display cases as if there's some sort of a royal tribute. Dong Cheng D says, you mean Huawei Mate XT actually has a 5-year-old chip, which means constant overheating? Exactly, because Huawei can't get cutting-edge chips. What a waste of poor OLEDs, David. Exactly. Innovation from Zach Arnish says, there's nothing innovative about folding screen. Yeah, some people even accuse them of stealing from Samsung. So in this video, you essentially see like everybody's like worshipping this triple fold, right? It looks nice right now, but how long is that going to last? All right, another one here. Let me go to this. So this video also from the same store. They're now parading up the stairs. Okay, so it's like, you know, it feels like you're back in the dynasty eras in China where you're like on your way to Beijing to give your tribute to the Emperor of China. And then everybody has one in their glass box. Okay, so internet users started making fun of this whole fiasco. Look, they're saying like, basically you're buying this phone for wanting to look like a Chinese emperor. That's the ultimate goal here. So you got the Huawei phone, and then you want to look like the Chinese emperor, you do this. Okay, now it looks like your Chinese emperor reading those, I guess back in the days, there are documents written on these folded papers that the emperors would read and decide on policy. So that's what it feels like to have a Huawei triple fold. From Tira says, Samsung still didn't figure out how to keep dust and debris out of their phone, but it's funny to see Huawei doing a triple fold. Yeah, like I'll give the credit for the innovation, right? The innovation is there, but it's just whether or not we really have the longevity. So, which is interesting, but if you want to live like a Chinese emperor, here's your opportunity. Balarov says, it's foldable in all the wrong ways, not practical, pretentious-looking gizmo with absurd pricing. The silver lining is that it's a nice conversation starter. It is. It's pretty cool. Like, obviously, Huawei's trying to get back into the mainstream points, right? People had forgotten about Huawei after they were sanctioned in the US. They essentially got kicked out, and now they're back. So AJ Mondes asked, David, did Huawei already reveal the chipset using that triple fold phone? I believe it is the same chipset they use for their Mate 60 Pro, which is the Kirin 720 or the 7200. I can't remember the exact one, but I believe it's the same chip. All right, so funny pictures. Let's go to more funny pictures here. We have... yeah, this was the one that were making fun of the iPhone, right? Saying how if the iPhone did the triple fold, it would be this. You got the screwed in clips for your door hinge, and then you got that going. So that's your iPhone triple fold. Clearly it's not. This is another take of that same picture here. You got the emperor looking at the reports from the officials, but it's Huawei. This is, how many folds is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 fold. I'm waiting for Huawei's quad fold. Okay, so triple fold, whatever. People are doing it. You know, Samsung wants to do it. But show me the quad fold. I'll be impressed if Huawei comes out with the quad fold next year. That's what I'm looking forward to. And then you got the, okay. This is the funniest video ever. I'll show this to you.
我这两天在研究这 iPhone 和 Mate XT， 我确实觉得华为的硬件创新确实遥遥领先，远远超越苹果了。你比如说，有时候在这些公众场合，我很尴尬，我想打电话掩饰自己，我拿个 iPhone， 根本遮不住自己的脸。可是有了华为的 Mate XT 就会不一样了。你看，我这样遮着脸，根本看不见我是谁，就成功的掩护了自己。你能看见我是谁吗？
喂，是小丽吗？
所以这是我最近总结的一个优点。第二个呢，工作忙的时候吃泡面，手机很重要的一个功能就是要压住泡面盖。我就不倒开水了，我演示一下。如果同时吃2包泡面，一个手机是很难压住这个2个泡面盖的，只能一碗一碗的泡。可是有了华为 Mate XT 就会不一样啊！你看，同时能够盖住2碗泡面，我吃泡面的效率提高了1倍，这样压得更坚实一点。所以坚决不买 iPhone 16了。刚才有人说很少同时吃2碗泡面，1碗泡面我觉得华为也是有优势的。你比如说倒了水之后，这个边儿可能会翘起来，拿这个手机去压呢，总是压不全，要么压到这边，要么压到这边，中间两边会翘。但是呢，华为就不一样了，我演示一下。 可以完美的把泡面全部都压住，保证一点热气都不外泄，保证泡面的这个温度足够高，然后让调味包的滋味渗透到每一根泡面里面。所以用了华为 Mate XT， 泡面的味道更透彻，煮得更熟，味道更好。我发现 Mate XT 的新的优点在随时向大家汇报。
So one of the best physical functions of the Huawei XT Fold is that you can use it to cover 2 ramen noodle cups. Or you can do a complete coverage of 1, right? The screen real estate is put on full closure in terms of usage by the experienced user who loves to have his ramen noodles during the day. This is hilarious to me because, you know, the thing about everybody making fun of the Huawei device, right? It's like the intention, because Huawei is very popular in China, there's no doubt about it. But the intention here is that they're trying to project this idea that Huawei's so practical. It stems from user experience, right? It stems from the idea that it's supposed to be a competitor of iPhone in the operating system, physical hardware, as well as user experience, which are very important for a device. But then you get this type of video, which basically makes fun of the entire idea of the triple fold. Hilarious. Question from MST. How long will it take for China to make 4 folding screens? I don't know. It could be next year. Who knows? Huawei's got a huge, deep pocket in terms of getting money from the government to support their innovation. Netflix Foreign asks, David, why did China end one of the few products that is actually made, one of the best products made there, Oppo Blu-ray players? Instead, they'd hold up Huawei. So there's politics at play here too. Huawei was seen as the state champion, right? The champion of the Chinese government for when it comes to dominating the world of devices. Unfortunately, they met the U.S. government in a sense that they lost that competition because the U.S. government sanctioned them. But had they not been sanctioned, I think they would have grown much larger, just like how you see with the EV cars, right? BYD, they're getting the same level of support from the Chinese government. And so if you're not really trying to, halt their advancement, they could flood the market. Because Huawei devices were selling like hotcakes because people, a lot of people don't care. They see the lower price point, they think that we'll buy it. And today, Huawei still remains in China as one where they basically cater as the domestic version of iPhone, right? Because people in the United States don't really use Huawei anymore. They use iPhone. In China, they're trying to make it seem like people don't want the iPhone. They want Huawei instead. So it's about politics in a sense. Tom Bullitt says, I own a Xiaomi phone. Isn't the CCP listening one? So there have been some information from China that suggests that during one of the protests, this man had a banner on the bridge that some of the phones, I don't know if it's Huawei or Xiaomi, they actually erased their phones, because they took photos of the protest on that bridge. So I don't know if this is like a special feature that it's built into the devices, but I'm sure, given the fact that China spies on data through things like TikTok, Huawei also has been found, because they're 5G towers, right? They were building them next to like US military bases and stuff. Like the accusation for spying, I would say right now is 99% true. Michael Vincent 16 says, how much is that phone? Like $3,000? The phone is $2,800. So it is a very hefty price point. See here, it's $3,000 for the Huawei Mate XT. Almost, not quite, $2,800. From Hot Crispy Snack says, bro can't hide his face from CCTV with that phone. Yeah, this would be perfect for the anti-facial recognition system in China. You go up, right? You're talking, you got your fold right now, you cover your face. They have no idea who you are, right? All they scan is the glorious triple fold. Nobody knows who you are anymore. Pretty funny. Okay, so this is so this is supposed to be the Chinese pride, right? But they also had some interesting things going on, which is this. So as you guys know, Huawei is like the state champion, as I mentioned. It must mean that everybody's loving Huawei, right? This is the photo that was released from the official, I guess you would call it the seller's account on Chinese social media, saying, look at all these people lining up for the Huawei device. It's released in China, so they're all lining up, right? Well, it turns out, this is the actual picture. This is the line for a Korean store called Line Friends, which is, I believe, sells toys and stuff. It's a Korean brand, not for Huawei. So this is the actual photo. They just used a different angle. And then there's one more photo here, which shows you how empty the storefront. So this is the Huawei storefront, and this is the other store, the Line store, right? Look at this. It's so empty. Nobody is buying this triple fold. Or at least maybe in this store. I don't know, across China, I'm sure there's a bunch of people. In some of my comments yesterday, viewers were saying that even the 5 million pre-orders, it didn't really mean real number of users pre-ordering. It just meant that you can sign up with any name. You can register for the pre-order, but it doesn't mean you have to pay for it. So it's a fake pre-order in that sense. But this tells you exactly what it is. Nobody in China is going to buy a $2,800 phone knowing that the quality, the builds, and everything, right? Let's not even talk about the software yet. The software is really not good in comparison to Android or the iOS. And so all this popularity it's a propaganda point for them to say that China and Huawei are hand in hand in getting their, dominance across the country. In reality, I'm sure the 16 for the iPhone is going to sell much better. So I have no doubt about that, really. Claw asks, why anyone buy a government spyware infested phone shows the power of marketing. No, exactly, that is what it is. It's just power of marketing. Constance says, ha 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 ha, damn, is really all fake in China, huh? China really does fake everything. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say that they do fake everything. Because the purpose, right? So people watch my videos, they're like, there's no way China fakes everything. They actually do fake everything. Here's the reason why. When you fake something, it lets you get away with having to answer the question of morality, having to answer the question of authenticity, having to answer the question of your products and the production line. You essentially skip a bunch of questions because those things are also not genuine either. And why bother with having to create genuine stuff when you can get away with cut corners and creating shortcuts that make you temporary gains, right? Especially when it comes to money. So the reason for China to do this is because there is no moral restrictions on these things. At least in the United States, for better or worse, right? People are like, capitalism is bad, but at least there's a sense of credibility and a sense of maintaining that credibility, right? If you are a manufacturer of televisions, your brand credibility, your brand name is built on the idea that it's gonna work. But in China, it doesn't really matter because, you make your few thousand or maybe $1 million and then you go away and you start a new company, who's going to care about that, right? So it's a whole different mindset. It's one where I think it has been screwing people over, but it's just people aren't realizing it in the sense that, there's so many people in China. Not everybody has been impacted by that same scam or by that fake item yet. And once people don't feel that personal experience, they don't really care as much, right? This applies to, every channel.